Welcome to something that I admit I'm a little bit late on. But if there's ever a thing where better late than never applies, this is it, folks. Because this is a way to get hidden tracks in Gran Turismo 5. And there's a whole heck of a heap of tracks to the point of I don't even understand the magnitude of where it is. But here, that I will sell first, is a video showing how to get those hidden tracks. And I personally don't actually know how to do it, but it's on this video that I will have linked in the description and I'm showcasing here to spread the word. Because, I mean, it's quite wonderful. If you can do it, I definitely recommend it. Because it's not going to hurt anything. GT5 doesn't have online anymore, so why not? The annoying thing about this is, as far as I can tell, I'm not allowed to actually post how to do it on GTPlanet, I guess. Even though also on GTPlanet it has its own section dedicated to hacking cars, which is called hybriding, but this is like hacking tracks, and apparently that's not allowed or something, but I will try my best to at least give kind of a hint, hint, nudge, nudge that this video exists in some way, shape, or form. Most likely it will be in the signature at the bottom of a post that I make on that thread at GTPlanet. So some way or another I will try to make people aware as much as possible of how to do this. But I will post this on all the other platforms, like obviously YouTube, and then they're going library by default later, car throttle, stuff like that. So anyway, let's get on to actually how to do it, and then I will show what's actually there. What I'm showing here is YouTube videos, but there actually is a thread on GTPlanet that shows stuff as well, but it doesn't show specifics of how to do it. Because again, apparently they're not allowing that on GTPlanet. So anyway, again, I'm certainly not an expert at this. I don't personally know how to do it. I don't have software to do it. But I may as well show it because it gives light to it. More people can see it. But from what I can tell, to give it the best preference to this I can, this is a computer program in which can emulate Gran Turismo 5 on a PC. And then this is the sticulars of how to do it and such. Continuing on in the video, again, this video is linked in the description. Definitely subscribe to this channel. And I will link other stuff in the description as I get to it. So anyway, pause it here so y'all can see it better. The video in total is only about a minute, but that's why I'm pausing it some to show the stuff more. Obviously, again, it's linked in the description. Y'all can pause that video itself if you want to. But I will do my best, which I'll admit ain't going to be very good, to analyze it. I mean, from what I can tell, this is just a window open with all the general information. And I guess it is put in as such in order for it to work. Like down here is all of the tracks that have, from what I can tell, have already been in the game is up here. And what it was found that wasn't in the game before, added. Like, I don't think Sharf was in there before. Well, some of these were, though. Yeah, I guess some of them are and some of them aren't. So anyway, some of these tracks were there before, and then some of them are there once the hidden tracks are added in. Because from what I can tell, you have to replace a track that's already in the game with one of the hidden tracks for it to work. So anyway, continuing on with the video. Let's pause to the point in which y'all can see it here too. So ultimately, you just replace a track in the game with one of them that has been found. And then this is actually playing it over here. Essentially, you go to track that was already in the game. You load that up. And then ultimately what will load is actually the hidden track. So for instance, like this is Suzuka, and then what will load up should theoretically be something different. Like that's Suzuka on the thing, what's on that screen, but then really it's Seattle. And then that's that video. Next video here, part 2 of the same thing. Continuing on showing how to do it. So from what I can tell here, just some of the tracks say what has been added. Like for instance, I think one of them said something like Seattle. But then some of them also say the name of a track that would already be in the game, but then when you load it up, it's actually also a different track. So I would say that each individual thing you can probably rename if you want, but ultimately that would depend on the person. But how to do it, I assume, is just use this program and then replace the tracks you prefer. Also, with this, you can add them in the actual offline events that are already in the game. Because essentially, if you replace a track, it's replaced in all the modes. It's replaced not just in practice, it's also in the events within the game. So essentially, if you want to do a 24-hour race instead of at Le Mans, but at El Capitan, you can do that. Or at Complex String, or as I said before, Seattle, New York, Seoul Circuit, Hong Kong. I'm just naming off all the ones from memory. There's a whole heck of a heap. Red Rock Valley, that's one of them. And many, many more. But I think this video is about, somewhat nearly over. It's loading the track itself here. And then this will be the big reveal of what it actually is. And it is... Actually backed out. I guess he's going to a different mode to make it work. Again, this is probably a pretty big trial and error thing. Sometimes it probably just straight up won't load. It might crash sometimes because a lot of the tracks are incomplete. This was all hidden tracks in Gran Turismo 5, meaning they were never released to the general public. Like this is Seattle again, but it was loaded on Autumn Ring. So as y'all can see here, a lot of the tracks aren't completely finished, like those billboards ain't sewn up with the highest quality. But that's why they weren't added into the game, they just weren't completely finished at the time the game released. But there is still a whole heck of a heap there. And this is how you do it. Get the program that's on screen here. Again, I will link the video in the description. This is 2 videos, so I will link both of them. And go through the program itself. Again, I haven't tried this. I don't have this program. I don't think I have a computer capable of running it, but this is, from what I can tell, able to be done if you have the proper software. And some people have said they've even played it on a PlayStation 3. Like, what I will load here is a clip from an actual PlayStation 3, people playing it. And the video itself is actually 2.5 hours. So now I shall load that up. It's loading, it should be up probably 10 seconds or so. There we go. This is the Grand Canyon circuit on Gran Turismo 5. Like, as y'all can see here, some of them are more well loaded than others. This one, for instance, really doesn't look all that bad. It's pretty well done, and y'all can obviously tell, too, that it's Gran Turismo 5 because the car has a detailed interior. From what I can tell, none of this has been found in Gran Turismo 6 yet, or maybe it never will, I don't know. But definitely keep an open mind with stuff like this. Because computer programming can ultimately advance farther as time goes on, obviously. So even though something doesn't exist right now, it very well could in the future. Ultimately, though, I'm plenty happy with this for now. I never really would have thought something like this could happened, because who knew there were this many games not in the game? Or this many tracks not in the game. From what I can tell, though, this is just Trial Mountain, or not Trial, Grand Valley, which was already in the game, so. I guess some of them are, some of them aren't. This is just some of the... As I said at the beginning, on the other one that was shown, some tracks were already in the game to begin with, and the name sold them as correct, but then some tracks sold as the hidden track with the name. So it may depend on the situation, depending on what they're called and all that. But ultimately, there's still a whole heck of a heap. This is a 2.5 hour video with some that are and aren't new, depending on the track. Like this is Twin Ring Rotegi Oval. And here's one of a good example of a much more unfinished track. I think this might be the Paris track. In fact, I think it is, because there's a Ferris wheel. So this is the Paris track, but it's not really as finished as something like Grand Canyon, for instance. But nonetheless, it's still quite impressive that there's this many tracks that can now be played in Gran Turismo 5 if you have the proper software to do it. Sadly, the best tutorial that I found on how to do it is what I have shown, so I'm not sure how much y'all can actually get from that. But hopefully y'all can figure out something. And I'll say this too, if y'all can figure out something, leave it in the comments, and I might do another more in-depth video on how to do it as well, because I mean, I would like to at least try and figure out the steps to do it, even if I don't have the proper software or computer powerful enough to do it. I'd still like to know how, because ultimately I would be going back to my college, and then maybe there would be some way that I could do it there. Everything's more powerful there, faster internet, better computers and such, so maybe, just maybe, there would be a chance to do it there. Maybe somehow I could word it as like a project or something for a class. Maybe. But just like anything, the technology will improve over time. Eventually, I'll probably even be able to do this. Probably by the time I can do this, people will be modding for Gran Turismo Sport by then. But still, don't rule anything completely out. Let's go to one final, actually 100% surely new track. Though I don't think Sharf 05 was in Gran Turismo 5, I don't think. I think it was just 08. Don't quote me on that. But let's end it on one truly new track to the game. Because ultimately it was an old track that was supposed to be added but never done. Probably the all-in-all most iconic track, Seattle. Is this the track that y'all would want most in the game? I think for me, of returning tracks, it would definitely be up there. I would say Trial Mountain is probably on the same level for me as well, because that I feel like would be a game that, or track that looks quite pretty in the new game. But again, technology may find stuff hidden in Gran Turismo Sport. We have already known about the whole thing going on with Spa. That it is already completed for Gran Turismo Sport, but isn't added into the game, because Spa, its owners, however that's worded, wants more money than Gran Turismo is willing to pay. Take that however you may, but maybe, just maybe, people will have the technology to ultimately put it in that game, as well as all the tracks that have been added to this game in Gran Turismo 5. Again, there's Seattle, Hong Kong, El Capitan, Grand Canyon, Seoul, New York, Paris, Red Rock Valley, the old Rome circuit. There's a whole heck of a heap, and I guarantee you there's that many more that I haven't named yet as well. And that's most definitely worth a yeehaw.